Okay, so the left-hand one, again, set-it-wise, as always, good, okay? Top of the backswing, again, a nice shoulder turn now. Again, the shoulder on a nice angle down towards the golf ball. This is good. The movement now that we're going to practice on is what the hands are doing here now and where the club's going to travel. You'll tend to go towards the golf ball this way. So you can see the hands now moving out towards the golf ball. At this point now, the club is quite steep through your sort of neck, shoulder area. And if you look where your hands are, when the club head and the hands now kind of get parallel to the ground. I mean, your hands here sort of above your hips. So your hands are kind of up here somewhere, yeah, quite high, which means when you come into the golf ball, as you're getting nearer to the golf ball, if the club's still very high, to get down to the ground, it's now going to, it's going to do a very, very steep descent into the golf ball, which causes that club to thump the ground a bit hard, cause that kind of slicing motion there, which again loses efficiency with the shot. So this right hand movement here now, we're sort of moving the club to try and get the feeling of it being more, I mean, this is miles wrong, but I say it's more of a feeling in terms of where that club's going to be. So we're trying to get this sensation. Look how far behind the club is. I mean, this is obviously miles behind, but you're doing no rotation at all. And we'd assume, as we said, that when you swing a golf club, you will rotate. And if you can see when I'll get wait a second, look how much lower your hands are there compared to that there. Now, again, admittedly, there's no rotation, so it's going to look a lot different, okay? But if we practice this here now, getting the club up the top as you did yourself, when you come around the corner here, there's the club now matched up to the thing. And you can say that vision you said about the tour players, they're much more in with the hands and arms. Yeah. There is in, you're in, so to speak, okay? So as you then swing the top of the backswing here now, the sensation is the arms just falling. And you can see when your arms fall down, look at the club now, and it matches up with the hands, how much lower your arms are, or lower your hands are. So now again, this club being back here is effectively wrong, but your shoulders haven't really rotated at all. This is just purely a drill to get the club from being over here to being where it wants to be. And obviously when you rotate, that club will come round the corner, as we will now see when we get set to this golf ball. So again, good swing to the top of the backswing, good shoulder angle. The good thing is when you're making some of the changes, the old swing changes haven't sort of disappeared. The club now at the top, really good line towards target. The arms now coming down, whereas before it was coming through your neck area. Now it's coming under your shoulder, yeah? So before we had the club kind of up here, now we've got it down there. So just in that sort of short time of the session, you've moved that club that degree, whatever that may be, 10, 12, 15 degrees, which is pretty big change, which is why you're going to get a few funky strikes, as we said. But when you hit the ground behind the ball here or get it a little bit thin, it's more of a scuffing of the ground as opposed to a thud. If it's thudding, it's coming down too steep, basically. If it's sort of just brushing and scuffing the mat, then you know you're on the right track, okay? And you can see when your arms come down here now, doesn't quite match up there. Probably if I go back a frame or two here, there, your hands are a bit lower now, sort of more on the sort of hip line here when the club is coming in. And if we look at the next frame where your hands then start working out to the golf ball, how much further away your hands are from your body, and then you're getting the club staying on the inside by doing some sort of twisting, turning with your wrist, which is going to give you a little bit more, whether you'll say so not, a bit more of a kind of toey strike as you come into the golf ball. So you're striking that golf ball now a little bit off the toe of the golf club. See the club face there, just sort of opening up as you hit it, because you've toed the club slightly, and that's your reaction of being over the top and then bringing the arms back in, because the arms want to stay in or come back in, as you said. If they're over here, they've got to move back in to hit the golf ball. And then when you do that normally from your old over-the-top movement, that's when you get these sort of toey strikes, which again, you can imagine is going to lose you a lot of yardage, yeah? If you're mishitting it off the end here, Sean, you're not getting the sweet spot or the full effect of the golf club. So as the club starts coming back, you see a much more, for me, a much more natural angle with your arms. The club now coming sort of through your right bicep there nicely as it comes down. Good angle. Again, a little bit cleaner because we said the club's coming a bit flatter, but a good movement through into that follow-through position, okay? So the feeling is more an exaggeration, putting the stick on the ground there, letting the arms fall. There's the stick. You can use your alignment sticks or clubs. Get that club feeling more behind it, so there's more of a drop. Now, again, you might feel it as a slight pulling, but I don't want to be pulling it with the hands and arms this way. And just to say, as we said, we'd mentioned the video, if you do it correctly, what you will generally see when you're on the range hitting golf balls is golf balls that start a bit more right of target. Yeah, that means the path now is more this way as opposed to over the top. You'll probably get a few kind of thinny, clean strikes because the club is working shallower as opposed to into the ground. Get the ball going a bit more right to left will be another good thing. You've done it as well. And also if you sort of scuff the mat a bit behind the ball, as long as you're scuffing the mat kind of that way as opposed to slamming it, those sort of 3 or 4 things will identify whether or not you're doing it right. If the ball starts left of target, it curves left to right, or you thud the ground really hard, 9 times out of 10, if not very, you've come in from this position here now, and the club's coming down, we call too steep, chopping into the golf ball. Okay, so this movement here is what we've got to try and get out of the game, is that sort of arms moving out towards the golf ball and the club getting, at this point, it's almost vertical, yeah? We've got to try and get, we want that club to be working more on that angle there, yeah? So if we were to draw a line through the shaft there now, it's more towards the golf ball that way, whereas this one now is kind of quite near to your toe line, yeah? Okay.
Brilliant, thank you.
Make sense?
Yes, thanks very much.
Excellent, very good.